talking about sexual harassment in Nigeria, I laughed when I saw this video of Engineer David Umahi.
The lady in question was like a daughter to me.
Engineer David Umahi, I dare you to come out and say that you did not. We all know what women go through.
Let's look at this, Umahi. This is both a PR disaster and an ethical disaster. First,
life is spiritual. When you want to use the unfortunate death of a young girl to play politics,
the police will depose you because you are the prime suspect. Whether you're a good man, bad man, that's what it is.
Made me to wonder, how many women have you done something similar to?
Behold, this is David. I'm a man of full grace.
Anybody looking at it will say this is a cover-up.
You don't, tackle me anyhow and you go out of it. So be careful.
Up to today, the police has made no official statement. This is a case that the police will be the PR speaker. The police PR.
Has it gotten that bad now that they can discover dead body in the home of a politician and he will just be going about his business as usual?
This lady here died in one of the houses in David Umahi's compound in Ubru in Ebonyi State.
Imagine if this happened to a regular person. Wouldn't they have arrested the person by now?
Hello guys, welcome back to Shekafe. You see, when you look at this case of this young lady that was found dead in the home of David Umahi, that is Mary Abila, the more you look at it, the more you begin to ask questions because the more you've seen, the less you see. And the most funny part of it, or the worrisome part of it, is that the father of the young lady came out to say that he does not want any autopsy to be conducted on her. That he does not want to know the leading cause of the death. And you'll be wondering, why will a father do that? He came out, he made this press conference where he gave the reasons. Before we even watch the reason, I want us to watch this interview on Arise TV, where people are already asking the same question that I myself is asking. And the same question is that, does the father have the right to say that he does not want an autopsy? Because the body of Mary Abila is already supposed to be the property of the government because there is an active investigation. So let's watch that interview, then we'll come back.
Well, you have to, a balanced line, okay? First, they ought to step aside when allegations are weighty. But even if they don't, their boss, the president, ought to demand that. So again, let's look at this. This is both a PR disaster and an ethical disaster. First, this happened tragedy. We didn't know about it. And they came out and said, oh, physiotherapists attached to you, attached to the university. I mean, what concerns the university and Umahi's house? So even if it was a secondary to the university, does she work with you? No, they came out, she was not a physiotherapist. She was a nurse. And then you tell us about her death, what she told her boyfriend. And the question is, this is a 26-year-old girl. This is not a professional, it's not like a professor of medicine. I mean, I've been in public officials, I've been special advisor to Senate President, to Foreign Affairs Minister. We don't travel with nurses. So even if I'm a personal doctor, so this is, the optics is bad, 26-year-old lady, personal doctor, stays with you, travel with you, stay in your house, and died in those circumstances. That's enough for you to go first to the police and make a statement. The police will depose you because you are the prime suspect. Whether you're a good man, bad man, that's what it is. Again, he has been on a show, being the one granting press conferences, talking about the case, precluding everything. And the dangerous curveball is that the parents, undone before, comes out and signs an affidavit to say, we don't want anything, we no press charge. Anybody looking at it will say this is a cover-up. That these people were pressed to do this because even if they don't want to do that, they will just go home and say, so in these circumstances, what do you expect of the police first? Up to today, the police has made no official statement. This is a case that the police will be the PR speaking. The police PR will be speaking, give you an update. This investigation we're going on
a regular basis. Yeah.
We've spoken with the minister, we've spoken with the aides, we've spoken with everybody. We are progressing. People have confidence. The minister is the one who is threatening lawfare against everybody. Say, if anybody speaks, I'll go after you. That is reckless, irresponsible at the highest level.
And the fact that it appears to be tolerated is even more galling.
But the point is, like I said before, this is a government, several cases, it doesn't matter whether you support the government or not, this government has been proficient in disregarding public morality, proficient in cover-ups and proficient in a certain diffidence against public. Well, you have to
we've watched one interview. There's another interview I want us to watch.
Step aside.
That was also on
Central
News
But
TV.
even if they don't,
Yes,
the boss, the president, ought to demand that. So again, let's look at this. This is both a PR disaster and an ethical disaster. First,
he does not want an autopsy to be conducted.
This happened tragedy. We didn't know about it. And they came out and said,
but there was one part where they
attached to you, attached to the university.
Question.
I mean, what concerns the university and Umahi's house? So even if it was secondary to the university.
In this case now, we have some, I like to call them actors in this case. We have the father, who definitely has played a major role by putting out that affidavit, saying clearly that he doesn't want anything regarding autopsy. That's one. And he also mentioned that he would not want to appear before the police. Does he have such powers to do so, to say so?
That this is the last time is...
He doesn't want to discuss this.
He does.
Invite him and so
He does.
And so can the court summon him to appear?
But he has told them he's not interested. Even in criminal matters, the complainants can go back to the police and say, I'm not interested in this matter anymore. Like I said
but when
earlier,
there's a loss of a life?
You see, there was a time when this banditry and terrorism was not even as bad as it is right now, that a foreign media organization stated that Nigerians have lost their sense of shock. So if you isolate the death aspect, it's almost like a daily news to read about death. It's now the circumstances around it and the fact that it happened in the residence of a politically exposed personality, which of course will throw up demands from opposition and from different stakeholders, angles that investigate this. And the big question now is to what extent will that investigation be carried out? Because there are several questions to ask. We've read that, she was seconded from the David Umahi University as a physiotherapist with another Mary who is claimed to be at large. She had a discussion with the boyfriend. She claimed she was bleeding. Another report, different reports. So you are to sift through these reports. Just like you recall the NSAS Lekki toll gate incidents, that there were releases of
the white paper.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, a mass burial followed some months later, and some people with critical investigative minds were asking, so if this was denied, where did you get the corpse for mass burial? So by and large, we may not rule out the influence of power brokers. But the father is saying, I've lost a daughter, please allow her to rest. But interestingly, this is a high-profile case that netizens will not allow to rest.
So he basically deflected from that question, saying that because Boko Haram were unaliving Nigerians, they have to sensitize the news and try to remove the death so that people will not be used to hearing the death every day. But the thing is that the body of that young lady is supposed to be the property of the government until the active investigation or the investigation is completed and the death of her is already ascertained and determined. Because as it is now, that case is supposed to be an homicide case. Read or investigate what leads to her death, because there is a conflicting argument or conflicting statement everywhere. So now, let's listen to the father reason why he does not want want an autopsy to be conducted on his daughter.
I'm Uncle Habila Wisdom, the father of late Mary Habila. Just as my barrister have just said, I don't have much to talk in this case. All that I want is the death of my daughter. We don't keep death of a little child up to so long, just like this. So that is why I'm here to say it once again and for all. I need the corpse of my daughter to take her for burial. That is what I'm standing on. Thank you very much. Thank you, Habila Wisdom.
are you suspecting anything?
That is why I said I don't want the autopsy. That's why I'm demanding the corpse of my daughter to go and bury her now. Very cordial relationship, both in her working place, in my home, and everywhere.
No, sir, if you are demanding for the cause without autopsy, his family are not pressing charges because the allegations that probably are death could have been caused by some circumstances. So what is the position of the family on this matter?
The position of the family in this matter is, I've just have said, we are of the truth. We need the corpse of this daughter. We don't want that autopsy that we are talking about. Yes, sir.
Are you suspecting anybody?
I am not suspecting anybody because that can occur. Even as we are standing here, one can fall here now and die. So we are not suspecting anybody. It has happened. It has happened. Thank you.
His argument or his statement is that because Habila and Mary Habila is a young lady and she's just 26, and in their tribe or in their whatever, they can't just wait for that because she's a child. You already assume she's a child. But you forgot that the circumstance surrounding her death. Somebody that was found without nothing on her and blood on her body, and she said you don't want any investigation. Now there's this other video I want us to watch because he also explained a lot of things that I want you guys to know.
How is it possible that the body of a young lady will be discovered, taken out of the home of a minister of the Federal Republic, and the man is going about like nothing happened? Hey God, has it gotten that bad now that they can discover dead body in the home of a politician and he will just be going about his business as usual? Imagine if this happened to a regular person. Wouldn't they have arrested the person by now for questioning? I don't understand. If you don't know, the lady's name is Mary Habila. She's 26 years old, for God's sake. A 26-year-old lady. She's just starting her life. How did she die? What happened inside the house of David Umahi? When the minister spoke, he said that this woman and her friend, Anita Baski, we are looking for Miss Anita. Oh, she knows exactly what happened inside that house. She needs to come out and talk. They must not silence her. So David Umahi said that this woman and Anita Baski were employees of the David Umahi Federal University of Health Sciences, and that they've been on secondment to the Federal Ministry of Work in Abuja. And so everybody is like, even if they were assigned to the Federal Ministry of Works, is your house now the Federal Ministry of Works? How did they get to your house? Is the ministry happening inside his house? Are all the ministry employees working in his house? Above all, what kind of assignment were they doing overnight? Because according to reports, this lady and her friend Anita Baski, both of them arrived at his house on the 26th of June. It was the 27th that they carried out her dead body. Why were they there overnight? So many questions. Another question is, how come they carried out the dead body in the middle of the night? They said it was around midnight. They were trying to take the body away. Some people started screaming. Another thing is, there are allegations that David Umahi was there in his house when this lady died, and he quickly left, and now he has not addressed that. Were you there or not? What happened? How did this lady die? Above all, if you've seen the picture, nothing suggests that this was natural. First and foremost, why was the lady naked? What happened to her clothes? Did she not wear clothes when she was coming into the minister's house? And how come there were bruises on her body, including the fact that there was blood in her mouth? What happened to this girl? How can all this happen in the home of a minister and the man has not been arrested till now? He has not been questioned. The one that is annoying me the most is the fact that this body is still under active investigation. But now we are hearing that they want to go and bury the girl fast. Meanwhile, the minister is telling the public that he is insisting that there must be autopsy. But Nigerians are alleging that behind closed doors, he's either threatening the family or that he's trying to bribe them so that they will not consent to autopsy. Because right now, it is now the family that is saying through their lawyer. The lawyer is saying the family doesn't want autopsy. What's happening? A body that is under active investigation is not adding up. And then David Umahi is out there saying, they should do autopsy so that people will not stop speculating. Either autopsy, either no autopsy. Nigerians know that the man's hands are not clean. A young lady with promising future walked into your home, died in your home. There was no call for help. There was no calling for ambulance or calling hospital. There was no record of them driving this girl to the hospital that she's sick, on duty or whatever. No, there was nothing like that. In fact, according to all the reports that I have seen, they didn't plan on alerting the police. But when they were carrying the dead body, they said that people found out what was happening and they started screaming. That was when his bodyguards now alerted the police. So I really want to know what you guys think is happening, because at this point, this man has done so much and he keeps getting away with all these things. You can't help but wonder, do we still have a government? By now, they should be writing books on the many, many sins of David Umahi. And he keeps getting away with it. How? Does the president not know all that is happening with David Umahi? When is it enough? When would Tinubu himself say, you know what? He's not the only minister. We've talked about how he destroyed the properties worth millions of dollars owned by Nigerians in the diaspora. Not just Nigerians, people of other nationals as well. People that bought property along that coastal road highway. This man, allegedly, just because they refused to bribe him, he destroyed properties worth millions of dollars. Who does that? Until now, nothing has happened to him. And then you say you want Nigerians abroad to come and invest. You want foreigners to come and invest in Nigeria. What kind of image does Tinubu think that Nigeria has when one of his ministers can do something like that and get away with it? This man has also been in the news for allegedly killing 5 engineers that were working on a project that was sponsored by the Africa Development Bank in Abakaliki, all because they did not allow him to divert this money that came from the Africa Development Bank. This man allegedly killed these 5 engineers and burnt their bodies. Till now, since 2021, their family members have been asking for justice. Not only were their loved ones killed and burnt down, they quickly buried them in Ebonyi. So till now, there are some of them that don't even know where their loved ones were buried. Just imagine saying goodbye to your loved ones, that you are going on a project, and for them to be getting a call that their loved ones have been killed and they've been buried. Hey, what are we doing? Guys, we cannot allow this to be swept under the carpet. This girl is somebody's daughter, somebody's sister. Somebody saw her through school. She's 26 with promising future. And now the picture of her dead body is circulating everywhere. This man has no fear of God. It is obvious. He should have been arrested by now. This is not a bail arrest. This is murder case that we are talking about. Murder case. And may also involve other things, because why was she naked? Above all, where is the lady that went with Mary Habila? Where is Anita? Please, who knows Anita Baski? Let's make sure that she's not silenced. She went into that house with Mary Habila. She knows what happened inside that house. From the report that I'm seeing, the police are saying that they are not convinced that Habila and Anita were employees of the university, as claimed by the minister. That's another thing. If Nigeria were to be a country that is functioning as it should, this man should be behind bars right now while awaiting trial on this murder case.
And they also live in the same compound with other workers at the guest house in Asoko, where I stay. And there's somebody whose hair is reserved for is given, as if wrong gears were transported to, a residence. And that's the impression, the person, the lawyers have been briefed.
That was when they even called the police.
People that are
and the
evil
father is telling you
and
guys
say they're fighting for the freedom of the country. Because if you intentionally did it, the death of the young lady
if that is true,
would be far, far better than
now
yours.
The father might have gotten some paycheck,
everybody is called at the time of God. So that lady,
nobody knows.
That
should be the
was a worker of Federal University Teaching Hospital. That lady was second to that ministry. The second lady is also a physiotherapist from Benue State, seconded also to the ministry, a worker in Federal
sexual misconduct.
And so it's unfortunate that she passed on. When you use the death of people to create content and deceive people, it means your time is up. So I ordered that they must be autopsy. The family reported to the hospital when they noticed this. The family also reported to the police. So where is the secrecy that if people were reporting? Where is the secrecy? The same moments
regarding
were
the
discovered,
land that David
her
Umahi
door
stole
was
away
broken
from them
to see
when they
that
were
she was,
constructing the
she had
coastal
passed
road.
on. And so they invited
So you already
the,
seen a pattern
the doctors,
among these
and the
two,
doctors came, did everything to revive her, but it wasn't possible. And then they now, took her to the clinic.
Time he asked us to stay in his house. The man did not allow me to sleep. He tied towel on his waist and came into my room and was pestering me. I had to tell him, okay, wait, let me give my staff a Bible. I ran away from the place where he was and entered my staff room and they locked it. That was where I slept because of David Umahi's disturbance.
Talking about sexual harassment in Nigeria, I laughed when I saw this video of Engineer David Umahi, the Minister of Works, saying if he wanted to chase me, he would have done it.
If I want to chase her, I go chase her. Sorry, sir.
Engineer David Umahi, I dare you to come out and say that you did not. We all know what women go through in our society and in your hand. This made me to wonder, how many women have you done something similar to and made jest of it? Good day, Mr. President. And that is why I am calling on Mr. President, every responsible Nigerians, both men and women, to ask David Umahi to desist from talking about any personal relations and focus on the matter on ground, which is properly compensating the diaspora investors who has worked hard to bring their investment back home and got their hope and dream destroyed. We are only asking the minister to do the right thing by the affected investors, not using some of my subscribers that are vulnerable and are also in coastal roads to perpetrate another impunity. I am also using this opportunity to appeal to people in power. Please do not use your power to try to bring anyone to submission or to sexually harass anyone. Sexual harassment of any form is a big crime and shouldn't be tolerated in our society called Nigeria. I have suffered many forms of abuse from this. Happy that I'm not desperate to the point of succumbing to any sexual form of intimidation ever. Let's not encourage this culture of come to me. Umahi, I don't need to come to Echo Hotel to see for you to do the right thing. I don't need to have any personal relation for diaspora investor to get compensation. These are people investments. These are people sweat and hard work. I still believe that Nigeria is not a failed country. We are not demarketing Nigeria. I still believe that justice can take its natural course. Stop using people. I don't even know that I can come out and make this kind of video because everybody knows me as someone that works hard and keep to herself. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Again, David Umahi, I'm not saying you have hand in the death of Mary Abila, but it's just we're just doing our clarification to really know what leads to the death of Mary Abila. So now we've established our story. We also want to hear from the other side of this argument, especially from this young man who supported David Umahi, trying to defend David Umahi, and what he said, where he believed that David Umahi does not have hand in the death of Mary Abila. So now let's watch his side of the story, then we'll come back.
This lady here died in one of the houses in David Umahi's compound in Ubru in Ebonyi State. Contrary to what a lot of persons believe, because she's a physiotherapist and some persons say she does massage. So the story and some persons, what is going on in their mind is that she went to massage the honorable minister and from there she died. My opinion on this issue, if you've been to the compound of David Umahi, it is like a big estate. It has over 15, if not more, duplexes that are built. Most of those houses belong to David Umahi, but don't forget, Umahi is not the only successful person in his family. He's not the only person that has money. They have retired Major General Obi Umahi. He's an accomplished military man. They have Roy Umahi. In fact, the king of their community in Ubru is Umahi's brother. So they have a lot of persons that have money that could have built those houses that you are seeing there. But I'm not surprised that the news is blowing up because Umahi today is not being loved by a lot of persons, especially because of his support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his comment on Biafra, and his constant attack on P2B. These three things are making a lot of persons not to like him. In their compound, they have a mini stadium where he gathers people for political campaign and people that pay him visit from time to time. But on this particular issue, I believe that it is only autopsy and medical report that could determine what has happened to this lady. Because a lot of persons think she has gone to massage the minister and from there she died, especially because they say she died naked. The fact that she died naked does not mean she died where she was having an affair with the minister. And don't also forget, David Umahi has many hotels in Ebonyi State, in Port Harcourt, in Southeast, including in Ubru. He has a big hotel in their village in Ubru. So if he has wanted to have any kind of affair with this lady, I don't think taking her to his family house would be his best foot forward. When he has hotels everywhere, he could literally enter the presidential suite of any of those hotels, have an affair with the lady and go. I have also heard that the minister has demanded that autopsy should be conducted on the lady to determine the cause of her death. Meanwhile, the father of this lady said, no, we don't want autopsy, give us the body to go and bury, which is very ridiculous. If somebody that has been accused of having hand in the death is saying, let's investigate, and the father is saying, let's not investigate, what does that tell you? They said that the lady is a staff in the Federal Ministry of Works and a secondment at the university that is in Ubru. Remember, if this lady had died of heart attack, chances are that she may have also have died of heart attack, even if she had rented a house of a common man in Ubru and lived. Personally, one of the major reasons why I don't like his system of politics is because in Ebonyi State, earlier before now, there were stakeholders that had say in the politics of Ebonyi. But since Umahi came, he relegated almost all of them, including Samego, including Pius, including Dr. Bonayonu before he died. So in Ebonyi State politics today, if you must be relevant, you must attach yourself to David Umahi, which to me, I consider a bad politicking style, because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Look at Nwifuru that he has brought today as governor. He's not even doing well. So I'm not exonerating Umahi. I'm only saying that it is only medical report that could determine the cause of this lady's death, and Nigerians must insist that the autopsy must be conducted. But for those that think that Umahi has hand in it, it may not have been in a way that so many of them are thinking about it.
So his reason is that David Umahi has a very large estate, that the guy might be in the same compound or estate with David Umahi. Does not mean that David Umahi will have anything to do with her. Because if David Umahi has anything to do with her, he would have just taken the girl to hotel, because he also have a big hotel, blah, blah, blah. So that is the excuse, and that is what David Umahi has now. And for clarity's sake, I'm not accusing David Umahi that he had hand in the death of Mary. But I have my own reservation. Now, just as I said that I have my own reservation, and these are the reason I said I have my own reservation. After the death of that lady, that young lady, Mary, David Umahi woke up suddenly and said that he wants to rename the coastal highway to Tinubu Road. That seems like a quid pro quo, whereby he's trying to make sure to please the master so that any cases will not be raised against him. We know he's in APC, nothing will be done to him. Again, I'm not saying David Umahi has anything to do with her, but that is my own reservation. Look at the video of David Umahi saying that he wants to name the coastal highway to the Tinubu Coastal Road or Coastal Highway. Let's watch.
And the fourth one, that is Akwanga to Meduga. If we start with the first one, and that's Lagos Calabar, 750 kilometers. We have section 1, which is from VI to the Lake Village, 47.47 kilometers, 2 carriageway with a 5-meter train track at the middle. That project is a beauty to behold. And that highway is named President Bola Tinubu Coastal Highway. And that's what we have named the entire Coastal Highway by the power conferred on me as the Minister of Works in consultation with my Permanent Secretary, Honorable Minister of Works, States, and the directors of the ministry, and indeed the union and all staff of the ministry. We decided to name that after him because of his dream for it. He had that dream about 27 years back as governor of Lagos State. And it's one thing to dream and another thing to have the grace of God for you to actualize your dream. This is one man that dreams and he has the grace and divine mandate to actualize his dream. And so the entire coast is called President Bola Ahmed Tinubu PCFR, Coastal Highway, Lagos Calabar. So.
And finally, when we watch this video of David Umahi trying to explain how this guy does not live, although he lives with him and he does not live with the girl, and the girl is staying in his own compound, how his own explanation of the death and the incident surrounding the death of that young lady, Mary. So now let's listen to David Umahi.
The lady in question was like a daughter to me. She had stayed with me for 3 years. She was a staff of the Federal Medical University. She was a nurse and not a physiotherapist. And the family and my family are like one family. And she has her medical records in Turkish hospital, being paid by us. She spoke to her boyfriend at the hour of her death and complaining that she was bleeding from the nose. And the boyfriend said, no, you have to report. You say it has stopped. So the boyfriend said, listen, I will not continue this conversation since you are bleeding. It will increase the bleeding. And she told the boyfriend, don't cut the call. The boyfriend cut the call. And 3 minutes later, the boyfriend called again. She was not responding. And even in the morning, she told the boyfriend she was going to bath because she locked her door, So even in the morning, when they broke the door and discovered her dead, the tap was still running, So, but what baffles me, in this country is that everything becomes an opportunity. Now, there is a guest house where her and the second medical person stay. And that is very far from where I stay. And so it means that, God forbid, somebody dies in Ministry of Works, the minister must be accountable to that. Is that what they are saying? Is that they're saying that somebody cannot die? Is that, have they checked the medical records of the lady? Do they know, that this lady was like a daughter to me? But everything goes into politics. But what I say to people, be careful. Life is spiritual. When you want to use the unfortunate death of a young girl to play politics, if we have hands in the killings, it will follow us in our family. But if we don't have hands and you are jumping into it, behold, this is David. I'm a man of full grace. You don't, tackle me anyhow and you go out of it. So be careful when you want to use the death of that young lady. One of my best workers, a nurse, a staff of the federal. Somebody said, oh, they were transported. The second girl is from Benue State, and that girl has worked with me as a governor before she was employed. And so when people darken this, so why I'm not talking to the president, it means nothing, but very painful to me that girl passed on. It's very difficult to replace her, and the parents will be begging them, allow for autopsy to happen. They say it's against their culture. But the question is that if she were a Muslim, will you be insisting that autopsy will happen? But we insisted through our lawyer that autopsy should happen. And we are begging the parents to allow autopsy to happen. And I say, no, it's against their culture. And so we have a stalemate, and only God will resolve it, because I have directed that the corpse cannot be removed until they have done autopsy. But it's very strange why an unfortunate thing that happened, is being made this. Is it that we killed a woman that was giving me injection, or that, was administering drug to us, that live in our guest house, even in my residence in Asokoro? So what sort of rubbish is that? So, but people should be careful, because when I kneel down to pray, I say, when you push yourself into this, I say, God, may the death of the girl be better than their own death. That's my prayer for everybody that is using it to play politics. But if we have hands, let it also follow us.
The thing I found funny is that David Umahi said that he told the father to carry out autopsy, but the father is working against him. Like this case, where it is so very bogus on its own, is that this is already an homicide case. You can't say somebody was on her life and you don't know what causes. Somebody's already being suspected. And police or the state should have taken over. If you remember the case of how will I say it? Of Very Dark Man versus B-Lord. We had David, the Very Dark Man said that he already took his hand out of it, but now because it is a criminal case, the government has taken over the case. So the case is now between B-Lord and the government, no longer between VDM and B-Lord. So this case, this is even more worse because this is an homicide issue and it's supposed to be investigated by the government to carry out what leads to the death of this woman. If there is allegation that this woman was having blood all over her body. Is it groped? Was she groped by someone? Nobody's know. But that case, because the father said no autopsy, and the government will just let that be. That is to show there is something fishy that nobody is even talking about. Again, I'm not accusing anybody, but at the same time, I am saying that something sinister is going on behind the scene. Is it possible that the father was given money, already promised millions of naira? Nobody's know. But what I believe is that the death of that woman is not natural. The blood around on her body is supposed to be investigated to know how come about the blood. Although David Umahi explained that she was having blood nose, running nose, or blood was coming out from her nose. She told her boyfriend, and her boyfriend said, go and take medicine, and she said she wants to go and rest. Those explanations doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, we'll let that be, and we'll be following the case, and any latest update will be bringing it to you guys. So that is where I leave my case, and I'll be expecting you guys to comment. I will be expecting your comment on the comment section below. Thank you very much. We'll see you again. Bye-bye. But before I go, guys, please, if you are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon so that whenever I drop any latest update, you will be notified. Bye-bye. So on a final note, even without accusing David Umahi that he has hand in the death of Mary Abila, but there are questions that Nigerians are asking even to this very moment that they are still begging for an answer to, but no answer is coming. In the first place, is David Umahi home the Ministry of Works? Does that mean David Umahi has a special nurse and doctor that follows him wherever he goes? Why would these people be transported to David Umahi's house or home? As it was alleged that David Umahi was even in the presence when that issue occurred. He later left after they called the police and tried to pretend that he was not at home when everything occurred. And at the other part of it, I will leave the video at the end after finishing, because when the case started initially, David Umahi claimed that this girl was a physiotherapist. But it was later now established that this girl was actually not a physiotherapist, but she was a nurse. Does that mean David Umahi was confused when he was asked or when he made that press conference? These are questions that is begging for an answer. And nobody is accusing at this very moment that David Umahi has anything to do with it, because David Umahi is also at the same time threatening anybody who accused him or who tried to insinuate that he has hand in it. That with lawyer, or he even said that the dead person life will even be better than the one who is alive. What is that? Is that a threat of life? Nobody knows. But we leave that to the general public to judge. So again, David Umahi, I'm not saying that you kill the person, but you need to be asked a question. That is what I'm saying. Thank you guys, and we'll leave you guys for here. And I will be waiting for you guys on the comment section below. Bye-bye.
And they also live in the same compound with other workers at the guest house in Asokoro, where I stay. And there's somebody whose hair is reserved for is given, as if wrong girls were transported to, our residence. And that's the impression, the person, the lawyers have been briefed, and they will take on the people that are evil and say they are fighting for the freedom of the country. Because if you intentionally did it, the death of the young lady will be far, far better than yours. Because, everybody is called at the time of God. So that lady, was a worker of Federal University Teaching Hospital. That lady was second to that ministry. The second lady is also a physiotherapist from Benue State, seconded also to the ministry, a worker in Federal Teaching Hospital. And so it's unfortunate that she passed on. When you use the death of people to create content and deceive people, it means your time is up. So I ordered that there must be autopsy. The family reported to the hospital when they noticed this. The family also reported to the police. So where is the secrecy that every people were reporting? Where is the secrecy? The same moment it was discovered, her door was broken to see that she was, she had passed on. And so they invited the doctors, and the doctors came, did everything to revive her, but it wasn't possible. And then they now, took her to the clinic and they invited the police. So where is the secrecy in it? If not that people are evil, and so shall evil follow them.